And welcome to Rob War, episode 2. I'm your host, The Rob.
And I am the Murph. Today we're going to be talking about the King of the Ring, which will be airing this Thursday. Crown Jewel, October 21st, 2021. Also Queen's Crown.
Right.
Also talking about who's the real king of wrestling, Vince McMahon or Tony Khan.
Interesting. And also, here's an interesting one for you, Al, as well. Recently I've been watching, I'm always watching like AEW, MLW, New Japan, all these type of promotions, right? You know me.
Yeah.
This one's an interesting one, and I thought I'd bring it up, and it could be a segment later on. And if it is, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and repeat. And I wanted to discuss the match that you thought you never knew you wanted. Who could that be?
You know,
Who could it be? Anyways, like you said, talking about the King of the Ring coming back, and now for the first time ever, we have this Queen's Crown, and I get mixed up with that stuff too. I
yeah.
thought, I would have thought that I would have thought they would have said that they were going to make it Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Queen of the Ring. That's what confused me.
Yeah, I mean Queen's Crown. I mean, I guess I mean I'll get used to it. I mean, because like I
Yeah.
said, this is the first one ever. And speaking of the first one ever, um, excuse me there. From what I know, I'm trying to see who the because you said on October 21st we're gonna have the WWE Crown Jewel, the annual Crown Jewel that always goes to Saudi Arabia. Um,
For the King of the Ring tournament and Queen's Crown tournament.
yeah, and you know, what's it called? I thought the last time from well, because I haven't, to be honest with you, Al, I haven't really been watching it as much as I should. I don't know.
Me neither.
It just hasn't been clicking with me
I
for
I
some
ain't
reason.
gonna lie. I'm behind on a lot of the WWE stuff and like Japan with the G1 Climax. I'll get to that. Maybe the final episode, the final two or three or something. You know what I mean? But I'll get to it.
Yeah, most definitely. But with the Queen's Crown, as far as I know, what I know about the Queen's Crown is that I know that Selena is in it. I think she's
Selena
one of
Vega.
the yeah, I think she's one of the finals or the ones that are I think it's gonna come down to Selena Vega versus Shayna Baszler.
I kind of see Shayna winning. I don't know why, but I see Shayna winning. I'll be pretty. I guess. Well, more like pretty interesting. The Zelina Vega one.
Yeah, because I mean, it's talking about Selena Vega, like it's weird, right? I think it's been a weird year for her too, because like
Yeah,
WWE released her, and then all of a sudden,
they
they
bring
bring her
her
back.
back,
But
and her husband
what's
goes to AEW, and she just stuck there. So
y- and you know what's crazy about that also is that like I don't know, like you're gonna bring her back, but you're not gonna bring her husband Malachi Black back. I don't understand.
me neither. That's WWE for you. Never makes any freaking sense.
It never does. But we'll get to the crown jewel stuff here in a minute. I wanted to talk to you about the King of the Ring. Actually, because I've always loved the King of the Ring. It was an interesting concept.
Yeah, same here.
Um, but obviously, recently, I think obviously in 2019, I think was the last one. It kind of left me sour, Al. It kind of left me like I don't know, like like they devalued the name. You know,
Yeah, with Baron Corbin.
it used to mean something, and now all of a sudden, they do this thing with Corbin, and they make it a gimmick. And to me, I think they stretched him like too far.
I felt Corbin should have stayed the lone wolf while he was King of the Ring, the winner. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. He should have stayed the lone wolf. Still should have kept that attitude, but also done the king stuff like the others have. You know what I mean?
And which is interesting because a little later on he comes out, as King Corbin. He comes out with that like Game of Thrones style shirt, uh, which would have been even more interesting and even better if he was the lone wolf. Because if he was the lone wolf, that whole Game of Thrones stuff would have worked.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah,
know,
that would have been perfect.
I mean, and here's the thing also about it is that I feel like I didn't, I'm a big Baron Corbin fan myself, man. I've been watching him since NXT. I saw him, develop and grow up, ever since he had the long hair and stuff. And I got to tell you, like he was dominant, man. I mean, like this guy is a Golden Glove, boxer award winner,
The when he got to the main roster, I felt they just didn't know how to really use them. You know what I mean?
and I know, and
Then
that's also.
again, I shouldn't really give much of an opinion because I didn't really see his uh NXT run, but from what I hear, it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. And I got to see his NXT run because I subscribed to the network since on day one.
For 9.99.
When it was 9.99. Now it's like 10.81 or something like that for 10.81 um
On Peacock.
on Peacock.
Because
But
currently Vince does love Cox.
oh goodness, he's putting that out there. I mean, I guess that's why this is the podcast with the most attitude, where nothing will be left on the table and everything will be digested raw.
Raw.
He's put it out there. He's put it out there. So it seems like he's probably it seems like you're siding with Tony there with this King of the Wrestling thing, huh? I don't know. I mean, because I remember you used to be a big WWE fan.
I still love I still love Vince and the WWE, but it's just the current product isn't doing for me. Of what AEW is doing, I like the direction they're going. I like the wrestling that's been going on. I like the fact CM Punk, Adam Cole, Brian Danielson. You know,
Yeah, I mean they got a,
Minoru. I think it's Minoru Suzuki coming in. I enjoyed him back in the
and I
New
think that's
Japan
also
Pro
the,
Wrestling along with Lance Archer. Everybody dies, Rob.
and I think that's also the reason why the Forbidden Door is so awesome as well. Because you can get so many dream scenarios, so many dream matches, so many matches that you never knew
Never
you
thought.
wanted.
Yeah,
And speaking of match that you never knew you wanted, we had an interesting one this past
Rampage.
Wednesday. Oh yeah, yeah.
Your Rampage Friday Night Rampage.
And here I am, Bouch.
It was the buy-in that was on YouTube, which you can catch right now.
Here's another thing, Al, that I wanted to throw in there since we're being random about this as well. Random Rob and the Murph. Um, what did you think about? Because I see a lot of people complaining on social networks and social media and stuff like that. They had this whole big confliction with AEW naming it the buy-in.
The
Well,
buy-in's pretty much their version of like a pre-show. So
yeah,
in my opinion, all the buy-in was just a pre-show to Rampage, something special just to go head to head with the SmackDown.
And but that's what I'm trying to say as well though, is that people were like looking so much into the word itself, the buy-in. Like they were saying, like, "Whoa, isn't the buy-in supposed to be like for the pay-per-view since we're like gonna buy it?"
Well,
And since basically it's on YouTube or on TNT, it's kind of like for free. And well, I have to tell people that's not the point. The point is that you're gonna be tuned in. You are invested
yeah,
in the show, which means you have bought in the hype.
exactly.
You've bought.
Just like when Raw and SmackDown first, I want to say they first went. I want to say a few years ago when they changed up the whole damn setup and shit. They have pre-shows for a little bit for Raw and SmackDown
Yeah, and
to
that's what I'm
hype
trying to
up
say.
the episode. So AEW doing that for Rampage was no different.
It's just all it is just a unique name. That's all it is. Like
Yeah,
you said, it's just a pre-show. You got a pre-show, you got a post-show. You know, it's the
I'm
same thing.
guessing they
Like
they
what you
they
said.
go buying because it fits in, like because that's what they do. You know what I
Well,
mean?
not
Why
only
say
that.
pre-show? Everyone uses pre-show.
Not only that, but it's funny that you were talking about like how AEW has a more like stacked roster and stuff like that. I think also the reason why I like AEW as much too is because they how do you say, they mesh in like the New Japan style, the strong style, the lucha libre, the indie style in with like the entertainment aspect of everything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they're the best of both worlds. Like they have the entertainment aspect of like what WWE, what you would watch WWE for, and but they also have like the combat style and the ranking systems and stuff like that, almost like New Japan has.
Yeah.
Because I mean obviously like with the elite and everything, they're called the elite for a reason, and that's because like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, obviously they're AEW originals, but they're also you could argue the fact that AEW started kind of around them,
Yeah.
along,
Definitely.
obviously along with Cody and
Cody, the Young
and
Bucks,
Jericho, of course,
Jericho.
the goat.
Oh yeah.
So you could say that, but going back to what I was trying to say with the match that you never knew you wanted and the whole buy-in thing, it was pretty interesting. Another interesting complaint, I guess, from the fans out there saying, well, you know where I'm going with this, Al.
It was too
Um,
long.
what's that?
That the match was too long.
No, the match that I was gonna say, the match that you never knew you wanted, is obviously Brian Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki,
Oh yeah.
right? But the
That
the
match was
fans,
amazing.
it was beyond 5 stars.
Oh yeah.
I give it 13 stars because that's my ranking system. Uh,
Yeah. Go over
and
5 stars. Fuck that shit. 13
yeah,
stars.
it was just, man, it was just, and I understand, and what I'm talking about, like the fans were complaining that they put that match on the buy-in, but they didn't put that match for the main event,
They put on the buy-in so people could tune into the buy-in.
so you can buy in.
Exactly.
So you can buy in, so you can be invested. But I also know, speaking of ratings and stuff like that, there's a lot of people saying that SmackDown actually got the better rating than AEW this time, though.
SmackDown got the better overall rating. I want to say AEW won the demo rating, but to me, it's not about ratings. It's about who put on the better show. In my
Yeah.
opinion, I think Rampage was the better show. Well, only just from what I've been hearing. I'm still actually watching it right now because I've been busy this past weekend. But from what I hear, it was pretty good.
Oh, I got to tell you, Al, it was amazing. It was off. It was absolutely amazing. I'm sorry here. The computer here is kind of going low, so I had to like hurry up here. But it was. You need to watch Rampage, Al.
I'm checking it out right now. Well, after this podcast, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah, and that's so interesting enough. Like I said, but I mean, yeah, like I said, a lot of people were complaining because you had that match at the beginning and you didn't have it as the main event. And here's my thing. Um, here's my thing. I don't care. I don't know. I don't. Jesus, sorry about that.
I always believe in starting off with a bang.
No, but like I don't. Yes, and exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. I don't care who goes first, who goes last. I mean, one of the WrestleManias you had, well, wasn't it two, maybe two WrestleManias? No, it was last WrestleMania, wasn't it? No, you're you're Murphymania. You're Murphymania for a reason. Now, you can help me out with this one. But when you
And
had Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, they had that match go first, and a lot of people complained that that match went first and it should have went last.
I don't. I think was that 35.
What are your thoughts on that?
I don't remember, but it's always good to have like a big match to start out first, so the rest of the card could come back. Then I gotta try and top that. You know what I mean, for the people.
Yeah,
Always want to try to be, you know, I guess be better or however you put it. But I don't mind some like matches like that going first. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's what I'm
Always
saying.
keeps the rest of the car like on their toes. Like, all right, we got to top that. You know what I mean?
And I believe the last match for Rampage was a women's match. I think it was Ruby Soho versus Penelope, I believe.
Interesting.
And what's interesting about that is that I know right now, and maybe Tony sees bigger money because I know he's already said it. He's already gone on records by saying that Ruby Soho is bigger money.
Yeah.
And I would think by making a ballsy move and putting her last eventually you're gonna see that. Like
Yeah.
eventually, I think you're gonna eventually, obviously, it's gonna lead up to probably uh Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker.
Oh yeah,
DMD.
definitely.
Mhm.
Probably by next AEW February, which is what is it again, Rob?
I think it's Full Gear.
Full Gear. There we go. Full Gear.
Yeah, they may, and I get that. Not only that, but I don't know if you agree with me here. Um, but watching that match as well, I'm digging what Penelope Ford is doing as well.
Oh yeah.
I think right now she's underrated, even though like she's been there for a while now. But like she really does have this look. She really does look like the super bad girl.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah, she
think she
does.
looks more super bad girl than her husband Kip there.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a badass. Like she just has an
Oh yeah.
attitude. And I feel honestly I'm putting it out there right now. I would like to maybe see either like someone like her or Thunder Rosa as our first ever TBS champion.
That'll be interesting. When are they starting the tournament for that title?
Honestly, I think they're supposed to be on an AEW Rampage. I don't know if it's next week or so, but they are going to be starting it already soon.
Nice. That should be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. And so, but yeah, to wrap this up, like I said, I mean, everyone was giving stuff about that, giving stuff about first. I mean, first off, geez, I don't. To me, this is what makes me mad a little bit more, right? Like just enjoy wrestling, people.
Exactly. Why
Like
wanna
I don't.
why compare wrestling?
Yeah, why compare like if you don't like what Raw's doing, if you don't like what AEW's doing, if you don't like any of these promotions, there's other different promotions out there
There's
that you may possibly like.
AMLW, Ring of Honor, New Japan
I
Pro
just
Wrestling.
don't
There's
I just don't understand that you're gonna watch anyways, but you're gonna go on social media and be this social media warrior or whatever, this Facebook warrior,
exactly.
and start trolling people and then starts giving people crap about the buy-in name. Like you're gonna complain about the name, like That just says a lot. Like, just enjoy it.
Fans complain about every little thing.
And not only that though, but I mean, like, not only that, but like, we gotta also think of the fact that AEW is doing their own thing. They're doing their own rules. They're making up their own
Yeah,
stuff. It's not the typical WWE formula that you're used to. So
yeah,
you're gonna get what, and you have been so far with Dynamites and the Rampages. You have been getting high marquee matches for your openers.
and
You know,
some extreme matches that kind of reminded me of ECW did. You know what I mean?
but not only that. And then talking about the buy-in, and also it being on YouTube and stuff like that. Could you only imagine? Even could you only imagine how many views that got alone? You know, I mean, that has to be something.
Oh yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. All I'm saying is that you fans out there should just enjoy the fact that there is still wrestling, especially during these times.
exactly. And
And
the fact there's more wrestling now than we had to work with.
more than ever,
Work
more
with
than ever.
in like the
I mean,
'90s, because back in the '90s, you really had two choices: WWF and the WCW.
and we can also argue the fact, since this is, Rob is Royal and this is the King of the Ring special episode. We can argue the fact who was better, WCW or WWF, and I'm gonna pick WCW because that's just, I grew up to WCW. Sorry, Al.
Me,
You
I'm picking the
can
WWF because that's what
you
I
can you
grew up on and watched more with Stone Cold, The Undertaker. Come on,
I mean, and I get that,
DX.
and I get that, and if you want to go over there and join Vince McMahon's Kiss My Ass Club, that's fine by me. You know what I mean? Um, that's fine by me, Al. But speaking of King of the Ring, and speaking of who's more dominant and stuff like that, do you have any do you have any particular winners that stick out to you that you remember the most from it? Because, like I told you, Baron Corbin just left me sour with it,
Yeah,
and he could have done something with it. They could have done something, but
I
I think they
agree.
also, I think they also just stretched it too much.
One that
Um,
I'm sorry, finish.
no, go ahead.
The one I think stands out as kind of recent was when Booker T won it because that whole King King Booker, it was kind of gold. His mic skills, the heel run, that was kind of gold. You know what I mean? It was funny. That shit
Yeah,
was hilarious.
dude, it was way hilarious. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
Like,
and then,
like,
when they first premiered it, and watching it as a fan, like on TV, because we saw it, right? We saw
yeah,
it as it happened when it live. I remember my initial reaction obviously was that this is annoying as hell. Like his wife was just annoying with the, oh hell, King
King
Booker,
Booker.
and then the pinky, and then but looking back at it now, and obviously he's discussed it, and obviously it made him the most talked about, it made it the most talked about King of the Ring winner as well,
Yeah, and he was a heel, so his job was to get people to hate him. And how you get people to hate him, have his wife. Oh hell, King Booker. You know what I mean?
and then saying it 24/7 as he's walking out
Yeah,
too, like she's just constantly doing it. And not only that, who in the blue hell loves a king anyways,
exactly.
who loves royalty, who loves someone that thinks they're way better than you,
I know, right?
and that, I think that's the beauty of it right there.
One of the other king of the ring reigners. This one's talked about a whole lot. Is Stone Cold when he beat Jake the Snake Roberts, and that was the start of the Austin 316 era.
And I totally agree with that, because what I mean, there's documentaries out there, there's a bunch of stuff out there, but obviously for the ones that don't know, um obviously it was about, I mean, first off, I don't even know, I don't I'm kind of I'm trying to remember the whole thing, um because I don't remember if So I remember something happened. I don't know if either Stone Cold or Jake the Snake was supposed to be in the match, or something happened there. I think Jake the Snake replaced somebody. I I think. And now don't quote me on this, and obviously you've people out there can coming back and correct me on it. But I think something happened there. I know Stone Cold got hurt. He something happened there. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, Jake the Snake did this whole John 3:16 um promo, right?
Yeah.
And from what I know, I think it was Michael P. Hayes is the one that told Stone Cold, like, hey, he just did this like this religious type of promo, this
Yeah.
John 3:16 type of promo. So obviously, so obviously when
Austin.
yeah, so obviously when Austin went out there and he cut his promo, what you're seeing is what you get. What you
Yeah.
see is what you get because it was unscripted. He went out there and he obviously, I'm pretty sure you know it all right.
Yeah, when he pulled the old Austin 316 says,
Talk
I just whooped your ass.
Yeah, talk about your Bible, talk about your prayers, or whatever. He said something like that.
Yeah.
Talk about your prayers, talk about your Bible, talk about your John 3:16. Well, Austin 3:16 says, "I
I
just
just
whipped."
whooped your ass.
And then, sure enough, the next night on Raw, nothing but 3:16 signs everywhere,
Yeah, that
and
just blew up.
it also becomes the hottest like merchandise T-shirt
Yeah.
to sell probably till this day, probably now still
One of the other
ever.
King of the Ring winners was I thought was pretty cool was Owen Hart, the King of Hearts.
The King of Hearts. Yes. Yes. I don't remember much about his reign as much.
Yeah.
Do you?
Not really, but I know my buddy Robbie told me a little bit about it. I don't remember much
And we're
right
definitely
now,
and
but
and we're definitely gonna
definitely
have.
something.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you because me, I'm more like I said, I'm more a WCW kid. I was more into
Yeah.
I was in the '90s era of WCW, so that whole era of WWF is kind of
Yeah.
and that's why we in a future episode obviously we're going to get Robbie on here and we're going to enter the Rob zone, and this
Yeah.
is this is a cat that knows all the old school stuff. Obviously he's the one that got you into it.
Yeah. Again, too, sort
So
of.
one of these days we will enter the Rob zone.
Yeah. And
um
speaking of King of the Ring, who was the first person to win two King of the Rings? I guess sort of back to back.
mm,
Now I want to say 91 and 1993. Because 92 didn't have one apparently.
yeah, I don't understand that right there. I don't understand why there was a little gap right there.
Yeah.
And apparently there was not, interesting enough, there wasn't one in 92 and there wasn't one in 1990.
Huh.
It skipped from 89
Yeah.
to 91. It skipped from 89 with Tito Santana
Yeah.
defeating Rick Martel, which again, I mean, did he do anything with it? I mean, I
I don't
know
remember.
Santana, but I mean, like, this is a guy who could have done some, like, I remember him coming out as as a matador, and he was like a bullfighter. He had like a bullfighter type of gimmick, and so I mean, he could have done something with it, right? Maybe been
Yeah.
like Bull King or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so going back to your question there about who has the most King of the Ring wins, even till this day, no one has broke it. You
nope.
know, no one has broke it, and that was, like you said, in '91 and '93. That would be dun 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 dun. So I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best that there ever will be.
Brent the Hitman Hart.
Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart in '91 defeated IRS. Bray Wyatt's dad.
Woo! That's something you don't
For all,
hear
for
every
all
day.
you, for all you
Bray
young bucks
Wyatt,
out there.
Bret Hart defeated Bray Wyatt's dad.
Oh, yeah. And then in '93, again, interesting. He's just beating these star players. In '93, he beat also one of my second favorite ECW star. Because my first favorite ECW star is Taz, and it's just always going
Yeah,
to be Taz. There was something about Taz. Just loved all the variations of suplexes, that submission he had, the Taz mission. I thought it was something different. This is all goes before this is all before freaking Umaga and Samoa
yeah,
Joe and stuff like that. Think about that for a while. Who he
yeah.
could have possibly influenced that, you know? Um, but to me, the second one for me is also a big rivalry of Taz's as well, and he also suplexed them onto the stage of ECW, and the stage broke. I don't know if you remember that
Ooh, I don't.
one. Ooh, so you don't even know who this guy is I'm talking about.
Eh,
I mean,
enlighten me.
I mean, let's just say this guy he was on fire. He literally was on fire. His head had fire. He was also I also remember like being a kid and he was also in some of the WWF games as well too. He's
Yeah.
iconic for sure.
Oh yeah. Say his name, Rob. Oh
Bam Bam Bigelow.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bam Bam Big Gigolo, he where I'm at on the ECW, he did a feud or he was in a program with Taz, and like he asked Taz to be his partner, and Taz kept saying no, and then he like asked him again, and Taz agreed, and Bam Bam's all like, "So does this mean you're gonna be my partner?" And Taz says, "No, I'm gonna be your savior," or something along those lines. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
cool.
and then Bam Bam ends up turning on Taz.
Man, yeah, I
The triple
definitely need to I
threat.
definitely need to binge all those as well too. I love DCW. Um, but on yeah, and then speaking of that, and then you talked about we talked about Booker T being a highlight. Talked about Bret Hart, talked about Owen Hart. But here is an interesting one, Al. Do you know who the first ever winner of the King of Ring was?
Don Morocco.
The magnificent Don Morocco, back in July 8th, 1985 in Foxborough, Massachusetts, with 23,000 people in attendance.
That's to
Now,
be
this
pretty
was
big back then.
but not only that, people need to take this into consideration that this was way before it became a pay-per-view. It did not become a pay-per-view until 1993. So we're talking about, I mean, man, imagine how prestigious and how long King of the Ring has actually been around. But majority of the people out there don't realize that it's been around since the '80s
85,
and
right?
'85. I wasn't even born yet. As a matter of fact, I was.
Same here.
Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, I was. I'm sure. I'm sure my parents were getting busy. Uh, during that year because 86 will pop out. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
the magnificent Don Morocco, he defeated Iron Sheik, baby.
Iron Sheik,
Hogan,
nice.
piss off, Hogan. You
Oh, he's talking
motherfucker.
shit about Hogan.
You
Iron Sheik is
motherfucker,
a
Hogan.
shit.
You motherfucker. Asshole, Hogan. That asshole.
Yeah, Iron Sheik.
Oh.
Oh
And
yeah.
then from there, 1986, we had probably one of your favorite promotions, the NWA. We had the eight-time NWA champion Harley Race defeating Pedro Morales.
Ooh. I know. My buddy Robbie, when he was going through it, he was like, "Hardy Race is the shit."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That and seeing that happened in '86, so I was just a month already.
Yeah.
I was just a month year old because it was that would happen in
I
July.
want to say
Oh,
he
okay,
showed me a
actually,
match,
two
Dusty
months.
Rose
It was
versus
2 months
Hardy
because I
Race. He showed me. Yeah. He showed me a match when we were drinking like one night. I think it was Dusty Rose versus Hardy Race.
interesting.
I
Dusty
think it
Rose,
was for the NWA title.
huh? And here's your could be a favorite one. We didn't discuss this one, but I mean, obviously, this one is just as much up there as the King Booker and Bret Hart and Owen Hart. In '87, we had King Madness. We had King
Macho
Macho,
Madness,
Macho
Macho
Madness. We
Man.
had Randy Savage become the king in 1987.
Oh
I
yeah,
yeah, and then funny enough, and then funny enough, come '88, Macho Man is still king, and the $1 million Man ends up defeating the Macho Man for his crown in '88.
right. The
Because
Million Dollar Man,
prior
Ted
to that,
DiBiase.
yeah, prior to that, Macho Man defeated the $1 million Man, and then that previous year, $1 million Man defeats the Macho Man. So it was bittersweet. It was bittersweet for Ted DiBiase
Oh
because he
yeah,
ends up becoming, he ends up becoming $1 million king.
oh yeah. And Rob, since we're talking about King of the Ring, and since this is special, I do have a nice glass of wine. So cheers.
Cheers! I don't have nothing but uh, I guess pure life.
Spike Pure Life, chugging it. Yeah.
This guy thinks it's spiked. You're the only alcoholic one on this podcast. All right.
There you go.
And if we're gonna go there with the whole King of the Ring thing, it's beer versus liquor, and liquor always wins out. Sorry.
Um, One of the other King of the Rings I feel is also important to mention is Triple H. I want to say 1997,
Well,
the
that's funny
King of
because
Kings, because now because of the stuff he does now, come on,
that's
he
funny that
truly
you say
is.
that. That's funny that you say that because an $88 million man defeats Macho Man in '89. Santana defeats Martel, '91 and '93, or Bret Hart, and he defeats IRS and Bam Bam Bigelow. Owen Hart defeats Tatanka in '94. '95 we got King Mabel,
Ooh,
who later on becomes Viscera, and in that tournament he beats the Undertaker as well in that same tournament. So ultimately he defeats the Puerto Rican sensation Savio Vega. '96, obviously we said that Stone Cold in the pre 316. That's if we didn't, I believe obviously if we didn't have him win that, we probably wouldn't have had the 316 stuff. So
if the current call event never happened, Triple H, what I believe was supposed to win that one.
there you go.
But they
That's what.
broke kayfabe at a house show that got leaked around the world, and he got punished for it.
And so Jake the Snake was replaced then. And I think from what I heard is like you said, like Stone Cold had just had a match. He didn't know what was going on. They told him what Jake the Snake's promo was, and said, "All right." He goes out there, thinks of it right in his head. Thinks, "All right, John 316, Austin 316, boom." Everything is the rest is history. Glass shatters. Yeah,
Yeah, but Stone Cold was born.
Stone Cold was born, and then, like you said, in '97 we get Triple H, who defeats Mankind.
I want to say it's one of the starts to the famous Triple H versus Mankind feud, or Triple H versus Mick Foley.
I gotta say
Great
also,
feud.
I gotta also say probably one of my favorite rivalries. If it's not Triple H versus Mankind, it's definitely The Rock versus Mankind because they had a
Yeah.
lot of good matches.
Oh yeah.
Obviously Triple H retired. Oh, Mick Foley, but
The Undertaker and Mankind too was great.
Anything that mankind, I mean,
Yeah,
we can
dude,
just all
Mankind
agree that
was
anything
just.
that mankind did.
I agree with the signs that were put up. Foley is God.
And I think that's the reason why it says that, because like you said, anytime you're gonna get in the ring with Mick Foley, you know you're gonna
You're in
have
for a
a good
treat.
match. In
Yeah.
98 is an interesting one because we have the, I would say the first ever MMA guy to win the King of the Ring. That's that is the most dangerous man on the planet, Ken Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock was awesome. I thought his run should have been a little bit should have ended better than what it did.
I actually,
Second should have been something.
I also like the Lions Den matches he used to do too. I liked all that stuff. I think
I
that stuff
liked
was good.
the hard dungeon match he did with Owen Hart. That was
Yes,
pretty cool.
yes,
The
yes.
match he did with the match versus Bret Hart was fun until I think it ended in disqualification or something, as most WWE matches.
I mean him. I
No
mean,
surprise there.
guys like Ken Shamrock and like Dan the Beast Severn. I think those were the two that were the first ever, that started this relationship with the MMA, UFC, and WWE,
See, and
WWF.
speaking of Dan Severn, who is, I want to say, the real belt collector because he came out with the NWA belt and a few other titles I don't remember, but he came out with quite a bit of belts. His manager was, I believe, Jim Cornette. It was just awesome. He should have had a feud with Ken Shamrock. That would have been amazing, but unfortunately, I want to say it was teased, but it didn't really happen. I don't think. I could be wrong. Someone
I
correct me on
mean,
that.
it looks like whatever you spike there or whatever you're drinking there. I mean, it seems like the more you drink, the more you think uh, about this wrestling knowledge. Huh? It just all starts coming to you while you're letting loose there.
It really does.
Alcoholic Al, everybody, alcoholic Al. So after Ken Shamrock, it was pretty interesting one because like '97, Triple H.
Mhm.
Basically, after that, he takes over DX. Sean, I think, gets injured. He takes over
In
DX.
'98, after
He also brings in the New Age Outlaws. We get that shift when X Pac
after
shows up,
WrestleMania 14, all that goes down. So that's like a few months later that happens
and
because
X Pac
Michaels
shows.
gets hurt because the Undertaker.
Yeah, and then so what I'm saying is interesting enough here is '99. Mister Ass ends up
Billy Gunn,
ends up winning. We got King Ass
King
out.
Ass,
We got, what do we have? The Ass King.
right?
He's the Ass King. Ding, ding. And then in 2000, we get Kurt Angle,
The Olympic gold medalist,
the
Kurt
a
Angle.
King Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah,
2001, we get Edge,
that was a good one.
and
See,
I think he was also calling himself King Edge the Awesome.
Edge was just great back in the day too. He still is now. I like seeing Edge.
Yeah, it's always great to see Edge. I mean, I feel like we need more nostalgic wrestlers like that.
Yeah,
I wish there was more of them, and sadly, enough there isn't really.
they're focused on Brock Lesnar and Goldberg right now.
You know, and that's funny. That's funny that you just said Brock Lesnar because guess who wins it in 2002?
Brock Lesnar, the King Beast
Brock
Incarnate.
Lesnar.
King Beast Incarnate.
But I think at this times 2002 would probably be uh I don't know, the King next best thing. Isn't that
Oh
what he was
yeah,
calling himself then?
yeah.
The next best thing.
The next best thing.
I remember him, jumping the barricades and laying out all them wrestlers. And funny enough, that's funny that I think one of the wrestlers he laid out was RVD, and he faces RVD. He defeats RVD for the crown. Could you imagine if we had King RVD,
To be
KRVD?
honest, Brock Lesnar versus Rob Van Dam on paper is actually pretty damn good, especially since RVD's and E is an ECW legend, and he's a phenomenal athlete too.
I mean, that match alone could simply be another like a match I never knew I wanted.
Yeah.
It's a match we never knew we wanted. I mean that's rare. Like it's crazy.
Another match I never knew I wanted was Naito versus John Moxley at the G1 Climax a couple years ago.
I mean, honestly,
I didn't think that was
I
good.
think anything that Moxley is doing is a match I never knew I wanted. I think
Yeah.
because we also had Moxley versus Kenta, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay, this is. I mean, in WWE, it'd be Dean Ambrose versus Hideo Itami.
Yeah.
And I guess, but I don't know if there would be a lot of value right there because at that time they would have just been two typical guys that are from WWE.
Yeah.
But in this moment, we have a New Japan guy coming to AEW, you know, and feuding with Moxley. I
Yeah,
just
that was
again
awesome.
that's pretty interesting.
Oh
To
yeah.
finish this off, we got like you said, 2006 Booker T wins. We get King Booker. 2008 again. There's no 2007. Crazy. 2008 we get Lord King Regal.
William Regal, hell yeah, King Regal. That was
2000
awesome.
2010 we get Celtic King Sheamus.
That was a good one.
2015 I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Al
Wade Barrett.
is king. Bad news Barrett. Another guy that kind of kind of messed up. And
Yeah.
then on August 19th, 2019, again, I don't want to talk about it, Al. I just gosh, that
His
gosh,
run could
it
have
makes
been
me so
better.
mad. It makes me yeah, it just makes me mad that they did that to Corbin like that. I mean,
Yeah, compared to all of the other
how's he gonna
King of the
dominate?
Ring winners, he's the least.
How's he gonna dominate? How's he gonna then go to SmackDown and then get buried by Cena? Cena wins. Cena first off, Cena didn't even need to be Money in the Bank winner.
Exactly.
I mean, come on,
He didn't need it.
come
Period.
on. I mean, come on. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
So
Gee,
tonight, or I'm sorry, this Thursday, October 21st, 2021, who is going to be the new King of the Ring? Honestly, we have either Finn Balor, Xavier Woods, or
Jinder.
yeah, Jinder Mahal. Honestly, I would like to see Finn Balor to win because he could go from Prince Balor to King Balor. I think that would be awesome.
I mean, not only that, but here's the idea. And I'm also torn apart about by this, and like that's probably one of the reasons I am gonna watch Crown Jewel for sure. I mean, I do. I mean, I still watch. Obviously, I didn't get a chance to watch the SmackDown, because like again, like we've been saying, there's just so much good wrestling out there. You know,
Oh
um,
yeah,
but with that being said, I'm definitely gonna watch this one because I feel like they could do something right with this one. They really could. If
definitely.
hopefully they do.
Oh yeah,
And not only that, after Crown Jewel is finally where the draft takes place. Where they finally the roster is put in place. The draft
yeah.
happened, and now they're going to their rightful places,
The
rightful brand.
draft probably should have happened after Crown Jewel, but
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. But it is what it is.
yeah,
And
that's
sometimes,
WWE for you.
like I said, like that's why it's hard with WWE because it's 50-50 with me. There are times they get it right.
Oh
And
yeah,
then there's also other times they're just like, what is going on? Why?
yeah,
I mean, obviously with the stuff that's happening with Roman Reigns, it's just pure gold.
yeah.
pure gold, especially that he's heel, especially
The
that they gave
chief,
him like finally you gave us
acknowledge the chief.
yes, yes, acknowledge him, Al.
I don't wanna. I'm so sorry that he defeated the Undertaker.
Which that's another discussion on itself. We could probably have a streak episode as well, and we can go into depth with that.
Definitely.
But anyways, um, I'm kind of like I'm just I don't know. I'm torn apart between these because I mean I like gender, and gender as king in Saudi Arabia. Come on, I mean
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
that's
Each
that's
one of
just
them.
that's just written for itself, right?
Yeah.
That's just something that is just obvious.
Each
So I
one
don't
of
know.
them will be good to be king of the ring if they do it correctly afterwards.
So here's that. We got that, right? We got gender who could win it in Saudi Arabia, and it could be one of the best things. He could be King Maharaja. And
Yeah.
and then we got Xavier Woods, who I think everybody wants to win. I feel like everyone wants him to win.
Yeah, because then you'll have Kofi Kingston, former the WWE champion, Biggie, current the WWE champion, and Xavier Woods, new king of the ring.
Yeah, and that's what, yeah, and exactly like and then like so. But here's the thing now. Also, I feel like let's just say Woods does not win, and it is gender, and we get Finn Balor versus gender because I feel like the typical WWE thing to do would be to go that route because obviously they're going to play into what probably Saudi Arabia wants, and they could
Hmm.
possibly want gender for all we know. I don't know, right?
Yeah,
But
we don't know.
if they do go that route, then the question that I have is do you think that they could possibly turn Xavier Woods and he becomes heel and he becomes you know what I mean, like he just becomes more broken down because he's the only one
That
that
hasn't
that,
won
that
anything big like that.
yeah.
I could see that. That would be that would be interesting, but come on, knowing the WWE, he'll just stay face.
I
Like nothing
mean,
changes.
because like I said, we could go Finn Balor versus Jinder, right?
Yeah,
And I would still love it. I mean, obviously, man, come on. And Jinder's awesome. I mean, he's totally underrated as a WWE champion. And I think
yeah,
I think he had an awesome reign as WWE champion. I think a lot of people were doubting that his reign was not gonna be as good as it was. You
yeah.
know, um, so that's gonna be interesting. Uh, so with that being said, what is your final prediction now? What is your final prediction? Who do you think is gonna win this one?
I gotta agree with you and go with Finn Balor because King Balor will be amazing. Finn Balor is awesome.
Because that's also another story that could be that is kind of written on its own because he was already calling himself in NXT Prince Balor. And the Prince thing obviously goes way before that because in New Japan he was known as Prince Devitt.
Yeah,
And so that's where the whole thing comes from, right? So
yeah,
not only that, here's an interesting fact, but in our awesome town of Corpus Christi, Texas, at the American Bank Center, on one of the Monday Night Raws, he debuted this
the
the
Demon
demon.
King,
He debuted the Demon King against Seth Rollins at here in
Corpus
Corpus,
Christi, Texas, at the American Bank Center. I was there.
and I was there too.
That was awesome.
And I said here, and I'm not there no more. So sad life. But I mean, so that's interesting. We could get so in conclusion, we could get King Woods, and everyone would be happy. And finally, you got all three. Because but I just feel like for some reason I just feel like for real like my final prediction obviously I think is Finn Balor. It's gonna be Finn Balor. And he's gonna do a lot with that. I think it's
Yeah,
obviously because obviously coming back from the second reign he had with NXT and then to come back on the main roster, I would think the guy. He's one of the guys that needs it.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
with Jinder, even if Jinder was to lose or not, I would still try to put Jinder on the card. I don't see why you're not having him at Saudi Arabia, anyways.
True.
Uh, and then with Woods, obviously, I think Woods. I feel like he would lose, and hopefully I'm wrong, and I could be wrong. But I just feel because like the way he was looking at the crown and the way he was focused, and he's like trying to, like it's almost like he's saying like I need to have this. I got to have this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And for him, I think like with him putting so much focus on him, on the crown, I think he's gonna lose focus. I think there's gonna be a distraction somewhere where he slips up.
It could be, that would make sense.
And and I guess we'll see. Obviously we this will be something we will come around on episode 3 to talk about. Al, do you have the crown jewel card
I do actually.
that we could probably run through before we bid you farewell?
Let me bring it up.
Yes, sir.
We
But yeah,
got
what? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
we got Roman Reigns with Paul Hammond versus Brock Lesnar singles match for the WWE Universal Championship.
So who do you got?
Honestly, I think Reigns is going to win. It seems the most the most logical choice. Have
It
Reigns
it
win, but
it
I also see Paul Heyman possibly turning on Reigns. I don't know.
Yeah, that one can go both.
Confusing a bit.
That one can go
Yeah.
both ways too, because like again, anytime you have Reigns versus Lesnar, like it's gonna be good.
Oh
And I know
yeah.
a lot of people are probably like sour on their matches and stuff like that, but they actually do good. Come on now.
Yeah.
And not only that, Brock Lesnar, he's a giving guy, and he will put over, you know, he will put over talent if it needs be.
Yeah.
And to me, would just make I mean, so you got what you're trying, like, I don't know even how to put this. Like, you got the logical reason. The logical reason would be to have Reigns. The typical WWE way of doing it, obviously, would be to bury Reigns' freaking heel run and bury him right then and there in Saudi Arabia, and have Lesnar win.
Knowing WWE, I wouldn't be
And
surprised.
well, but here's also the thing though, because I don't know if you heard about this, but Roman Reigns now he's already, I think he's close, or I think he already has surpassed the merchandise sales of John Cena. Now, John Cena, if for those who don't know, is the biggest merchandise sales like in the history of WWE. Like this goes like he's sold more than Stone Cold. He sold more than Hogan. He sold more than every
Yeah.
single star out there. You got it. I mean, think about that for a while.
Yeah.
Now you got someone like Roman Reigns who is already surpassed that. So I don't know. I don't. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be a smart choice to have Brock Lesnar win. It just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't. I don't know. Because ultimately I kind of want to see, like I said, I still want to see Lesnar versus Lashley, but I mean, hopefully we're getting there. Hopefully we're getting there. So what else do we have on the card, Al?
We get Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks triple threat match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship.
See, I don't know why they always do this, and I get the whole four horsewomen and all that stuff, but like, is Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, uh, Bailey, and
Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte, are they the end all and be all of the women's division or something? Because I mean, those, you got so many others, and it just seems to be like,
The focus is them.
yeah, the focus is them. Whether it was the women's tag team titles, I mean, you had a hit, you had a you had a hit or miss opportunity right there, and you missed by making what, Bailey and Sasha Banks champions, when you could have easily made someone like the Iconics, who I thought
Yeah,
were made for those titles.
I agree.
Something like that. And I'm not burying or shitting on the talent either, because obviously this is what the podcast is about, anything and everything wrestling. I love the talent. I love all
Yeah,
the talent. It's the company. itself.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. They
You know
don't.
what I mean?
Their matches don't make sense
You
half
know
the
what I mean?
time. The tag teams don't make sense half the time.
I mean, sometimes Al, I like McDonald's more than Whataburger. You know, and that's because I'm Texan and we're supposed to just love Whataburger.
How dare you? How dare you
I'm going heel. I'm going.
choose a California Burger Company over Whataburger? How dare you? You take that back.
at,
I'm just kidding.
at least I didn't say In and Out. Um,
Oh,
um, well, and I've never tried it, so who cares? That's irrelevant. But going back to your prediction with the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, I'm gonna go with Reigns as well. With this one, the triple threat one, man, this is a tough one because, like, I mean, we've already seen Becky, we've already seen Sasha. Honestly, I'm gonna go with Bianca again here.
I'm going for Bianca better, but I think knowing the typical shit, Becky Lynch is probably going to win.
It's either Becky or Sasha for me.
Yeah, but I'm going for Bianca better.
But yeah, Becky has this heel run going on, so she may just
It,
retain it.
yeah. The next match is RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Riddle versus AJ Styles and almost for tag team match for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship.
I mean, this is a match that I think you would that the term they would call a popcorn match.
Yeah.
And this is where you would get your popcorn out and stuff like that. And it's like, really, who cares who wins, right? Because
Yeah.
RK Bro is just so much funny and they're fun. But like, I'm loving this AJ Styles. He's small, hiding behind giant elbows over here, and
It's
basically,
hilarious.
and what's
Tell you
funny
what, he is definitely making it work.
yeah,
Styles is definitely making it work.
because eventually we all know that Styles is not a tag guy. He's simply solo and he's simply phenomenal. See what I did
Hell
there?
yeah.
So obviously there's gonna be some confliction there. My prediction, I'm gonna go with you know what? I'm gonna go with RK Bro. I think RK Bro is gonna win them, and this may be the split between Omos and Styles.
I can see that. I'll probably go with RK Bro too. You know what I mean?
I think there's gonna be a slip up there. Maybe almost somehow loses or something. I don't know. And I
Yeah.
feel like AJ Styles is like gonna blame him for the whole thing, even though
Yeah.
almost practically single handedly won the titles on his own.
Yeah.
And I think that's the joke right there. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
All right.
And the next one is Big E versus Drew McIntyre singles match for the WWE Championship.
Now here's another match that I never knew I wanted.
Yeah,
This
that
is a
should
match
be
I never thought of.
interesting. It's something different. I think it's actually something different.
I mean, these are two entirely different generations of that stars. That I mean,
Yeah,
Drew McIntyre was Vince's chosen one back in the day
yeah.
when the whole ruthless aggression thing was happening.
Mhm.
And during that time, obviously, I was like, "Who's this guy?" I don't know. I don't even know if I like this guy. But I mean, dude, I mean, I can talk about that could be an episode on its own. I mean, I remember when Drew McIntyre was Drew Galloway and he was doing stuff in Defiant Wrestling in the UK and he was just tearing it up after the whole Chosen One stuff. I think all the stuff that he did in the indies and all this stuff, uh,
Yeah,
his value obviously came up more and now we're getting, what we're seeing now. And
yeah,
to be quite honest, I would have liked to have also seen Drew as maybe King of the Ring winner.
yeah. That would be good.
Yeah,
Hopefully next time around.
he has the sword, he has the claymore, he has this, the Scottish thing. It would have been cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Then I'm gonna go with I want to say Biggie because I want him to keep the title a little bit longer.
I'm gonna say the same thing. I think Big E should get this one. I don't know what happens to McIntyre after this. I don't know what happens, but
Yeah,
I do see Big E versus Roman Reigns at Survivor Series.
That would be good. Interesting too.
Yes, definitely,
The next
definitely.
one, I don't know how we feel on this because it's Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley no hold barred match.
Well, see, here's another thing. The WCW kid in me is excited that.
And you know what? Yeah, yeah. You know, I give you that. The kid hit me too, because Goldberg, because as a kid, Goldberg impressed me, undefeated, 173 matches, I think,
But not,
and
but not only that. Here's also a
no
guy
one could take
who.
him down.
But here's also a guy who was a WCW original, and you would think that Vince, like not liking the other stars or whatever, he's been using Goldberg pretty good.
Yeah, probably
I
because
mean,
Goldberg's big, and you know Vince has this fetish for big guys.
well, but I know, but I totally understand that. But we've had a lot of big guys that came from that WCW roster, and he's never treated them like that.
Mm,
He's never treated them on a level where like this is a guy you're bringing in to like he's basically like I'm just gonna say it, and I think that was supposed to happen. He's basically like the Undertaker of Crown Jewel.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'm
And
gonna.
and and why I say that is because I think that was the whole idea between why they were supposed to have Goldberg versus the Undertaker, and I'm assuming Goldberg was probably supposed to be dominant in that thing, but we all know how that we all know what
Yeah,
happened there.
I haven't seen it because I refuse to really. I don't want to. Because Taker's one of my favorite wrestlers, and I don't want to. You know what I mean?
So Al, if we were to ever have your top 10 least favorite Undertaker matches, would that be one of them?
Probably.
All right, all right, all right.
I want to say during this match, the kid in me is probably going for Goldberg,
Man,
but the adult in me probably wants to see someone like Bobby Lashley Young defeating Goldberg,
I mean, because also at the same
because that
time,
will do a lot for Lashley too.
yeah, not only that, but I think there's a pattern here, and I just thought of it in my head right, literally right now. I think there's a pattern here because if you have Big E win, you have Bianca Belair win, you have Lashley win. You see where I'm going with this? Like you have, it would be awesome, people of color to be represented in a foreign country like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that itself is already history in the making, man. I mean, I don't think WWE has ever done that ever before since what? Ron Simmons?
yeah.
Since Farouk?
Farouk,
I mean,
Farouk is the
dude,
shit. Oh,
you know what I mean? Um so yeah, I'm gonna go with so you said you know what? I'm gonna go with Lashley on this one.
I want to say Lashley too, because I think that will really help him.
The logical reason would be obviously Lashley. The typical
Would be
WWE
Goldberg.
way would be Goldberg just burying again another
Yeah.
talent.
Then next we have Finn Balor versus Xavier Woods or Jinder Mahal single match King of the Ring tournament finals.
Interesting.
We already said that earlier. I'm actually going to just calling it going with Finn Balor because I think whole King Balor will be pretty awesome.
You know what? As much as I like to say it, I think I'm gonna go with Finn Balor as well. Obviously, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I'm just gonna go with Jinder or Woods. Just rocking Finn
Yeah.
Balor stuff.
Yeah. And the next is Zelina Vega versus Drow Drop. What kind of name is that?
What are you talking about? Dewdrop.
Oh, dude, whatever her name is, Dewdrop. See, I blame the wine. And Shayna Baszler singles match for that is. I mean, that is the Queen's Crown tournament finals, which really should be the Queen of the Ring, because Come on.
Well, again, I'm gonna go with Selena Vega because if you cannot make a star with that, I don't know, man. I don't
I
know
want to.
because I mean you could make Shayna that, but I don't think she needs it. I just want her to see. I just
Yeah.
want her to kick ass and be that badass that we saw in NXT, that dominant champion we saw.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want that. I think with someone like Selena, she can bring a character to it. I believe.
I
Uh,
would be. I'm actually gonna go with Shayna because I'm just curious how she'll do. Like I'm curious. I wanna. I'm just curious, like how she'll do as the queen. You know what I mean? Like how she'll do it, especially with Charlotte supposedly queen of WWE. So I'm just curious
ah. So what you're
how
trying to say
Shayna
is
will
that
do. You know what I mean?
they could easily put the crown on Shayna. She's flaunting it, and then Charlotte just comes out and says, "Hold up, I'm the real queen of
Yeah, I
y'all
see
here."
that happening.
I could see that too because if you put it on Zelina, and no disrespect to her, but like she's super short, you're gonna have somebody like, I mean, but then again, sometimes WWE do like these David, versus
David
Goliath
Goliath
stories,
matches. Yeah,
yeah. So maybe, and then obviously, I would think. I hope they don't go the dewdrop route.
yeah.
I do like Piper Nevins. If that's who it is, it's Piper Nevins
Piper
from
Nevins, they should have kept that name. I don't know what Vince McMahon's thinking. He must have been smoking
Dewdrop.
crack.
Come
I don't
on,
want
come
nothing
on.
like that.
So with that being said, it's like, are they already are they already setting up the Queen's crown to fail? Because they're gonna make if they make Dewdrop like the Queen, like I don't know, man. And
Yeah.
no disrespect to her, I'm just saying that her as Piper Nevin, she was also already as that, and I
Yeah.
don't understand.
If she was still Piper Nevins, then I could see her being King Piper. I know Queen Piper. You know what I mean?
We're gonna ditch the Piper Never names, and you're gonna be
Mhm.
Dewdrop. Such good shit.
Yeah. And the next one, which I'm actually would like to see, because well, it's happened a few times, but Edge versus Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell match. Now the kid in me wants to see Edge win, but I feel Seth
Man,
Rollins needs it. Edge, this is where Edge
this is
could pass the
this,
torch to Seth Rollins.
that's what I was just gonna say. This is the and I think that's happening already because they've been facing each other for a while now.
Because Seth Rollins actually did what Edge has done in the past. Like Edge didn't Edge go to Matt Hardy's house or some shit like that?
Yeah,
See, and Seth Rollins went to Edge like a Edge, like Edge's house. So I thought Seth was doing everything Edge did to the others. So
well, not only that though, we can also argue the fact that Seth Rollins is now our modern ultimate opportunist, like Edge. Edge was
yeah,
the ultimate opportunist when he cashed in that Money in the Bank against Cena.
yeah,
And this is an interesting one because Seth kind of did the same thing. It would have been cool. Didn't Vince come out and do the same thing? I don't remember, but uh, obviously Seth cashed in against Lesnar and Reigns at WrestleMania
yeah,
and became the ultimate opportunist. So so this is basically going to be the ultimate to see who's the best.
yeah. I'm going
Basically,
with
who's
Seth
the best.
Rollins because I feel this will be the perfect match to pass the torch. But the fact it is, I do like the fact it is Hell in a Cell. But part of me feels maybe it would have been cooler to see a TLC match since that was Edge's match back in the day.
I mean, I guess, but I'm also gonna go for Seth as well because I just absolutely love what Seth is
Yeah,
doing, and not only that, it kind of, I don't know, the stuff that Edge did with Lita and Matt Hardy, and that was an actual real story, and
yeah,
that actually hurt Matt.
yeah, it
I
did.
think of the damage that it's doing to him, and maybe that's where the whole broken stuff could have came around too. You
Yeah,
know, And then now, and then obviously, him going to AEW and stuff like that. So obviously there was,
Yeah,
I would think there was a bunch of conflictions there with WWE and stuff like that.
yeah. And the next one is Monster versus Mustafa Ali singles match. Now I don't know much in Monster, so I'm gonna I'm gonna go with Mustafa Ali because I feel he is pretty awesome.
And
I like his ring ability.
I'm gonna go with Mansoor because Mansoor is the John Cena of Saudi Arabia. Yes, I've said it. He
That
is the
makes sense.
John Cena of Saudi
So
Arabia because he also won I think it was the Rumble as well.
interesting.
So he already has how do you say it, lineage. He already has miles already put into him at the pay-per-view
Yeah,
already. It's already set up for him to
yeah,
where maybe Mustafa there is, obviously doing what Edge is doing with Rollins there, where he's just, giving them the rub, passing the torch, and
yeah.
bringing up his value more.
And that makes sense.
So yeah,
And I said for the match card.
yeah, and I think we've covered everything. Mhm.
Yeah,
So ultimately, like I said, I think it's a good thing that the King of the Ring tournament is back. I just hope that they continue it, which I kind of doubt because they always do it at random times.
yeah.
But it would be cool if they do it in annual. If they did it annually, especially if they're gonna have this Queen's Crown thing. Or
Oh
maybe
yeah.
every 2 years, every 3 years. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what the reign of the king and the queen is supposed to be, and how long they're gonna reign. Because obviously, freaking again, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry about it.
Yeah.
Ever since
Hey, I
2019,
don't blame you because that's pretty messed up how they did Baron Corbin like
and you're
that.
just
He
gonna
should
end
have
up,
stayed the lone star, like the lone wolf,
and maybe,
King Wolf, King Baron Corbin with the lone wolf gimmick. I feel would have been awesome because wolf are usually the pack leader.
and I don't know, and maybe that's why they brought it back and stuff like that too, because maybe they already knew, like, yeah, this was horrible. This is not what we thought
Yeah,
was such good shit.
yeah. According to Vince McMahon, such good shit.
Yeah, yep, yep, yes, sir. Well, I mean, is there anything else you wanna say, Al?
Actually, I do. I want to take this time give a shout out to my buddy Chris Shaggy Parrish, whose sister passed away. Um, my condolences to her and her family, or to him and his family friends, however that is. He's taking it pretty hard. They were pretty close. They would talk a lot on like in the video chat. It's just a very hard time for him right now. Who he will be joining us to give his stories on wrestling because he's been to a few events and his mom has as well. So he'll
Yeah,
be joining us eventually.
and same here. Like I said, I don't really know Shaggy as much, but I know he's an awesome person, and he's also a musician, right?
Yeah.
He plays drums.
No, he sings.
Oh, he sings.
Singer. He plays
Oh,
a good guitar. That's a right-handed, but he plays it left-handed. Pretty cool.
yeah, very,
Interesting.
very, very awesome. And how the community is with musicians and with wrestling fans, and same here. My condolences go out to him and his family,
Yeah.
and our thoughts and our prayers
Are
are
with
with
them
him.
all.
Yes, and like you said, this episode for Shaggy is definitely dedicated to him. So,
Hmm.
but if you listen to this, I'm so sorry, man. I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, we're sorry, bro.
We're very, very sorry, bro, and we love you.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I don't have no more words out.
Yeah, me neither. It's
Well,
just a very sad time.
yeah. Well, till next time, Al. bid you farewell. Next time, people, like I
We'll
said,
be back for episode 3 whenever.
like I said, like, subscribe, comment, repeat to Emosewa Productions. I think that's what I said it right. You can search Emosewa and go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment on their YouTube channel. We're also on Apple, iTunes, and we're also on Spotify. And eventually, me and Al here will get a Rob is War Facebook page going. And I also have an Instagram page if you want to check that out as well. Uh,
Also, make sure to hit the little bell so you could get notifications on when this is posted.
exactly, because here on Rob is War, nothing is on the table. Everything will be digested raw. And make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, and repeat.
Yeah.